Hi everyone and welcome to She. As you know, I've been so excited about this season because we're talking about all things pregnancy and motherhood. You know, and I just feel I need to say today I am craving that Shag's stew. You know, the one with badly cooked onions and tomatoes, you know, where you just see everything floating inside with potatoes and carrots and minji. I just feel like you need to know. I don't think you can ship one to the studio for me, but that's where I'm at today. And you know, it's just the journey of pregnancy. And I'm so excited because today we're talking about the third trimester. I'm about to jump into that trimester, and it's usually a very interesting one, filled with so much emotion, a lot more planning. You're heavier, you're perhaps more tired, maybe excited, but we'll hear from the guests today. And like I always do, I do my homework. I get you the best of the best in studio to tell us their stories. So I'll just allow them to introduce themselves, then we get started on the third trimester. So please keep it here. Call up your friends if you know someone who might not be watching, so that we just enjoy this baby shower today as we talk about the third trimester. So maybe we start with you, telling us who you are or a bit about yourself, and then we can move over to Viola.
Okay, hi, my name is Millicent Mwega. I am a mother of two boys, mama boys.
Yay.
And I'll do a bit of baking. I enjoy that. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so it's a full-time job.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I love it.
No, that's fantastic, because then you'll tell us about that world, you know, being expectant and being a stay-at-home mom, because so many times guys are like, oh, I wish I was just at home so I can sleep the whole day, but you know, it's a full-time job, like you said.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's fantastic. Thank you. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
My name is Viola Mbuga. I am a mother of three, and I'm an entrepreneur. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And I guess, you know, being an entrepreneur, you know, I'd want to know as well, do you wake up one day, you're like, you know what, even the business can run itself. Today I want to sleep because it's the third trimester. You know, because it's different things for different people. Yeah. Let's delve in. You know, the third trimester, if you could go back there, I hope it's not too long ago, what's happening at that time for you? You know, are you, you know, going through the whole waddling season, feeling like your stomach is, you know, like I keep feeling like I need to excuse myself and go like, oh guys, heavy load passing, you know, kind of thing. So what was it for you, and emotionally, physically, you know, what's going through your mind at that time? Yeah.
Well, for me, I think I'm one of those people who we don't do well with pain or discomfort.
Yes.
So the third trimester was weird, if I can say it that way.
Yeah.
So it got to a place where I'm feeling like just a small discomfort, I'm like, we should go to the hospital, you know? And I think being in that space of too much information in the media, you're always like, okay, what's wrong with my baby? Is this happening? So for me, third trimester ended up being like first trimester, where I'm almost panicking about everything, you know? Yeah. So yeah, and waddling was the order of the day, most comfortable. And like you're saying, wide load passing, please move.
Yeah. No, I can imagine. And I like what you said, because it's something I've gone through, and maybe you guys can share more light, where you're so anxious and fearful, whether you'll push or have a CS, really. Yeah. You know, I'm like, God, you know, I pray, you know, that every organ has formed well. You know, like all these thoughts are going through your mind. You're like, gosh, God, I hope I make it out of it as well. You know, have you gone through those things as well, even as you continue to share about your third trimester?
Yeah. For my third trimester, let me say, it was different for every child. But one thing that I would say, when I got there, I really wanted to be over. It felt like I have been pregnant for too long. I am just ready to have this person start living their life so I can live mine.
Separately from you.
Yeah. And of course, with pregnancy, no one can help you. But with the baby, you can give it to someone. Yeah, and of course, I went through anxiety as well. Like, are they okay? Is what I saw, is the baby going to be born okay? Will I be fine? And I had those. And I think more intensely for the third child,
Yeah.
The first time I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
So it was a bit exciting.
Yeah, it's a
You've
bliss,
heard all
yeah.
these stories and you're hearing this and that. You don't know how painful the pain will be if you're pushing or the contractions.
Yeah.
But by the third, I think the subsequent pregnancies, you're more aware and it dawns on you the miracle it is
Oh, yeah.
to bring forth a child into this world, both for you and for the child.
Yeah.
I usually say it's the ordinary miracle. You know, someone goes in, they come out. But it's
Yeah.
not so for everybody.
No,
Yeah.
it
So
isn't.
the anxiety just set in a major way. So,
Wow.
yeah.
How do you deal with that? How do you deal with that anxiety and the fear that you were feeling at that time?
Okay. I remember the last pregnancy specifically, I dealt with so much anxiety to the point where when the day came, I the fear stopped my contractions in the middle of like active labor.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, and this is because earlier in the pregnancy, I don't know if you dream a lot during pregnancy.
Yeah.
But I feel like I dream every day. So there's no sleeping when I'm pregnant.
That's interesting.
I
Okay.
dream a lot.
About the baby or other things?
The baby, being in school and being pregnant. It's all sorts of things.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But one of the dreams I had wasn't so good. We had my baby, and it was a boy child. But soon after, the baby passed on.
Oh, no.
And by then, I didn't know the pregnancy I was carrying. So when I
Or
discovered
like you didn't know whether
it's
it was a boy or a girl.
yeah,
Oh.
that fear became so real for
Yeah.
me. So that on that D-Day, I progressed very well, like all the way to like 6, 7. Then the contractions disappeared. And I think I was fighting the reality of
Getting the baby out
Yes.
because of, yeah.
So at that point, I just said, I called, I think, my sister. My sister told my mom, and just my husband, I just told them, pray for me.
Yeah.
Just pray for me. Because the old guys are like, wow, you're an amazing mom. What do you do to
turn
brave
off
all this, all this pain?
Yeah.
And I was just like, Jesus, I don't know what's going on, but
Yeah.
help me. Because then it took so long. I'd never stayed in a labor ward
For that long.
for that long.
Wow.
Till morning came. And I remember in the corridors, just looking at the other side where the babies have been delivered and saying, God, take me through there and bring me through with my child. And that was my prayer. That was my prayer. So
Wow.
graciously, I think, through praying it, like, trust in the Lord. Just that verse was like, trust in the Lord, lean not on your own understanding. And I was trying to get rid of all this understanding of dreams and all these things and just praying against the fear. So I think that's how I managed to get through that.
Wow.
Just constant prayer and having people pray for you, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing what it does. It gives you strength when you don't know. Yeah.
And you know, I think so many times people don't think, well, let me speak for myself, because I've been a 3 times yes mom. I usually don't think people who push go through fears and anxiety, you know, because with a CS you're going into theater, it's a full operation, you'll be opened up. So I'm like always so scared, you know. I'll never forget, I think it was for my second baby. And so I say bye to my firstborn and I enter the car and I tell my husband, did you see that bye? It just feels so final. It's like I'm not coming back. You know, like all these things just go through your mind.
Yeah.
And I always ask God for a word and a song. So that throughout the entire time I'm on the bed, I'm literally praying and singing that song. And He's been so faithful with each child. See me getting emotional. With each child I've had, you know, like a song and a word, and it's just held me, you know, because that fear is like almost real, you know, like there's pain, and you know, like such unsurety as well.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's been for you. Are you a CS or normal mom, and how, well, I should say CS or, you know, normal birth, and how has that been for you?
Well, for me, my firstborn actually went in with labor. And I was very excited to push, you know, I was like, yeah.
Just like every mom, you never think it will be a CS.
Exactly. And 17 hours later, I had to go through CS. So I normally
Wait,
tell myself.
did you just say 17?
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
That's a long time. Wow.
So it was a little bit disappointing, but at the same time, there's something, okay, this is the power of agreement. Because my husband and I, we decided, you know what, if the doctor says it's CS, we won't fight. The important thing is you're getting a healthy baby.
Yeah. And healthy mama, right?
Yes. And for me, I think that at that point, I craved every prayer I could get, because I found myself not being able to pray. I found myself being nervous. I found myself, unlike you, Viola, me, I'm those ones. For you guys, pray. Me, I'm going through this, you know. So the second one was also a CS. I thank God that both of them went well. But with the second one, I went through some major Braxton Hicks. I had to go to hospital like 3 times.
But just explain, who is that?
Who is that?
It sounds like an old rock song.
Yeah, it does actually. I've never thought about that.
No, to be honest, I had Braxton Hicks just yesterday, and when I told someone, they were like, "What is that?" It sounds like an old rock song.
That's a
so
nice
you
one.
can, I know.
Okay, Braxton Hicks. I don't know if I should say it's like false labor.
Yeah, they actually call it
they're false labor.
Yeah.
But they vary in intensity. Actually, I would want to know why they conclude that it's false labor and actually not. I've never asked that question.
Yeah.
So yeah, and they can be very intense, you know, and you go to the hospital, very painful. Go to the hospital and you're thinking, this is it. Then they tell you, pole mama, you know, rudi nyumbani. And you're like, really guys? Just like you said, it is time for this one to come out, and we continue. But yeah, it was crazy. I think with my last child, I didn't enjoy my 3rd trimester.
Because of the Braxton Hicks.
Yes, Braxton Hicks. And then for either it's because I was older in age or whatever, but my back was paining and my hips, and I'm like, check you guys, either this child is very big or I'm just old, you know. And of course I wasn't old, but so that.
And you know that
something.
you've talked about the back and the hips, and I've thought about what I've been going through already, and I'm not even in my 3rd trimester just with this pregnancy. And I guess of course I'm advanced in age as well, and don't judge my age. And you know, like like it's so hard to sleep, you know, because then you're heavier and there's this whole, you know, bump to deal with. And, you know, doing small things for yourself, you can't. And you have to have someone like help you with your shoes and things like that. Did you go through that? How did you handle it? You know, like for me, it's so uncomfortable. I don't enjoy sending people. I don't enjoy being done for things. I prefer being on this other side, you know, and then there I am, like my babies have to help me wear my socks, you know, like, it's like a whole world. Do you remember that sort of thing? How did you handle it? Did you jikaza and you're like, you know, I'm independent, I can do this for myself? Or did you, you know, just go like, you know what, let me just accept, let me be helped? How was that for you?
I'm more like you.
Yeah.
I'm more of, I'm the kind of person who likes this one here facing like this.
Yeah.
So if someone else does it, I feel like there's something off. So I got to a place where my sister-in-law told me, hey, you've been taking care of everyone. Let us take care of you.
Oh, wow.
And for me, it felt like a blessing and a punch at the same time. Because I'm like, how? I don't know how to. You know, so every time she would visit, she'd go like, and by the way, our children are not far in age, so she would tell me, you sit down, and then she'd call somebody and like, hey, Viola, come and help, because she can't do it.
But she wants to make sure you accept the help.
Yeah, so she really made sure that happened. And with time, and even after, which I know you've experienced, it doesn't end after you give birth. After a few weeks, especially if you're a CS mom, you still need that
so
help.
Much support,
So I think for me, accepting that helped.
Yeah.
But it was the hardest thing to do.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
How was it for you?
For me, I would say like it's interesting. I'm almost the same way, but now in my head, I told myself I need to be active. Because the moment I feel like I have chilled, I might have, this was a thought that I'd have probably like difficult labor, and I just wanted to be active and active and active. So I tried my best to do what I could do. But of course, there are struggles, like trying to wash your feet in the bathroom, and you can't even reach there.
Yeah.
So I was just telling my husband, I'm not sure if I shower all the way, you know,
anymore.
Like when anymore, you know, you just do this.
Yeah,
Put your leg up and just try and reach.
Yeah.
But when, of course, you find ways of coping, like maybe tell yourself, I'll do like a pedicure, they'll wash them properly. But for now, let's focus on what's more important.
Yeah.
But I think I was very aware of, I want to be active. I want to be active till the last minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, probably getting influence from all the wrong people, like people like my mom, who they were working, they left work to go have a baby, you know.
Yeah.
And so I was just, anytime I feel like I want to just relax and throw caution to the wind, and to tell myself, you know what, I can do this. So that was my mindset.
Yeah.
So it kind of helped me.
Yeah.
I was very intentional about that.
No, which is good.
I was very intentional about that. But now that also made it harder for me after having a baby, being that I had normal deliveries, thank God, or rather a vaginal birth, all both CS and normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so also just slowing down, because I did not slow down with my first, I hurt my back.
Yeah.
So there's the fallacy that, oh, you just went through that, you come back and snap into your routine. But I was told, take it easy, take it easy. And I didn't think I'm doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
But it caught on.
Yeah, it does. Because it takes a while for your back to feel the same, and your body really, so you need that time to heal and just, you know, just recuperate, because it's a whole process. You've just given birth to a human. You know? So I agree with you.
It's a high price to pay also.
I know.
When the back is hurting so badly, you can't even lift your child.
Yeah.
It's something else.
It's true. It's true. And I know also when you're having subsequent kids, then you're more tired and it's harder, because if, especially like the child before the one you're about to have is young, and they still want to be carried and things like that, you know. So I find myself like, I'll tell someone, lift the child for me so I can carry them, so you don't have to strain, you know, otherwise then you'll strain your back as well because of all these other things that you're doing. And you know, a lot of what you've been doing on this show is like a baby shower. So I want us to go back to having your baby showers, you know, those Excel sheets, you know. I guess what has not been bought in the first and second trimester, you know, now you're thinking about it in the third trimester. What are gifts or advices that you got when you went through the baby shower? You're like, wow, like that person saved me by what they said or what they gave me, and what like, what do you wish you knew, especially with the subsequent kids, you know, where you're like, now I bought a baby cot, a playpen, a Moses basket, and they all could likely serve the same purpose, you know. You know, so are there things you bought where you're like, the subsequent kids, you're like, no, I'm not buying, whether I have the money for it or not, I'm not gonna buy, you know, and just the deep insights that you got that perhaps you would want to share to somebody else as well. Yeah.
I think for me, one of the advices that I think stood out for me is be helped. I felt like the person was speaking to me. And don't think of yourself as the best thing the baby had. Also, it's the best thing your husband has.
Yes. Oh, so yes, that's true.
Allow your husband to also enjoy the baby. Let him be part of something from the infancy, like from day one. Like if it's a bath, or it's maybe like one bottle feed a night so that you rest. And I felt like that gave me made us bond. So again, my husband wasn't like, it's all baby, baby, baby. So when he experienced it, then I could legitimize like how needy the babies are. I feel like that really helped us. And then also a friend who told me, put your baby on a routine as early as possible.
Yes.
That gave me sanity. I was very intentional to do a routine. It was hard, but it paid off. It paid off.
Yeah.
I really, that's advice I give everyone.
Yeah.
And the more they are, the baby will be on the same routine.
Yes.
Otherwise, you'll have children. This one sleeps at 7. This one sleeps at 10. The other one sleeps whenever they want.
Or doesn't sleep.
Or doesn't. And you'll never rest.
Yeah.
You'll be a crazy mom, literally.
Cranky.
And cranky. So I feel like those are the best advices for me.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And you know, it's I guess it's a mix, you know. I got the advice to put the babies on a sleep routine, but I think for the first child, I overdid it, you know. Sometimes when I look back, I'm like, you know, I was so keen to make sure the child, you know, sleeps through the night and all that, and he easily got into that routine. But now what happened is that in this mix, I'd end up, you know how when you're doing sleep training, they, you know, they'll advise don't overhold the baby, you know, put them down, let them learn to sleep by themselves. So I feel sometimes I'm like, maybe I didn't even hold him as much as I'd have wanted to. So I guess to figure out a balance as well, I don't know. But I think sleep routine is fantastic. I've done it for all my children. I'll do for this one. But just to probably, I also want to suffer, especially when they're like this small, you know, where you can just hold them for long and they're not moving around to run to the next exciting thing. You know, I wish I did that for my first.
Me, I'm in that WhatsApp group of see the child came. God has a program for them. Because I can't stand a child crying. As in, I joined them to cry, by the way.
Aww.
The first time I tried sleep training, oh my goodness, I cried my eyes out.
Why were you doing cry it out?
Now, that's the thing. I was advised to do cry it out. And it
maybe
had
you should
worked.
Explain what cry it out is in case someone...
Okay.
As you continue to explain.
Cry it out is where you put the baby down and they will cry themselves to sleep, basically.
Yeah, at some point.
At some point, you know, they'll get tired of crying and just sleep.
Fall asleep,
And the people who advised me, they were not wrong because they were mothers and they have done that. It worked for them. But it was a major mess for me. So for me, that didn't work. That didn't work. So I just told God, you know what? I will go with their milestones. When I see they need more sleep, I encourage more sleep. Or I make sure I go, put them down, sing a song, read for them, and it's like it suits them. But I paid for it because I don't know how long after my kids still wanted, Mommy, come to bed, you know, come there. In fact, my son used to pull a chair and say, sit. And you know, it's right next to his bed because he knows that is the routine. So for a very long time, that's what I did with my kids, but it worked. I think I'm saying that because we get to a place where you're given advice and you're almost judged when you do something, and they're like, oh, you're doing that, you know, or oh, you're not
child.
Or you're not doing this. So I think every child or every parent has a way of doing their own thing, you know, and it goes. One of the other things about buying things that really worked for me is I was told, hiya, you know, being given things by your friends, everything doesn't have to be new. So please accept. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. And I think for me, that was the biggest advice because it saved on finances. It saved on emotional breakdown. Oh, I didn't want this color, you know. And
I feel you.
So that was a good advice for me as well.
I guess the hand-me-downs are not too bad, really. I remember someone telling me that, you know, and I don't subscribe to this thing of saying you are enough, but I want to say you are enough in terms of, you know, like when God created you, he created you with, as a mother, with all you need. Because so many times as a mom, I remember with my first child, I'm not sure whether it was postnatal depression or what it was. I just remember waking up one day and looking at myself in the mirror and crying the entire day. Like, I mean, I cried from morning to evening. First, because of the pain of CS, I'm like, they should write a book. People should know, you know. And later I found out, you know, like if you're still in pain, just call the doctor, get better pain meds. I didn't know. I just thought you make do with what you have. And then I remember just crying because I'm like, I am like everything for this child. Like if I even go away to the shop, this child will have no food, you know. So I was just so overwhelmed by that. And I'm like, I remember the child starting to get, you know how sometimes the babies get a rash, you know, because, you know, they've been secure somewhere and now they're out into the world with germs and everything. And I remember going like, this is my fault. God gave me a perfect baby. Look what I ruined him. And I remember someone just telling me, when God created you, he created you with everything this child needs. And I think it's so important for mothers to hear that, especially when you want to doubt yourself. You know, you're like, gosh, am I doing everything for this child? When you decide to sleep train and you decide to just work with your milestones, you know, you're the mom at the end of the day, and God knows that you're the ideal mom. And I think that advice has really carried me through, even when they're older, when you're thinking about discipline and, you know, and wondering if you're doing everything for these children, to just know that, you know, God chose them for you for that reason, you know. And I just want to find out if there's anything you would do different. If you know, I don't know if you're done having children, I could pass the baton to you once I'm done. But is there anything you would do different if you went back to being expectant again and, you know, you're walking into third trimester? You know, would you clean your house harder? I'm nesting right now. I spend my entire days rearranging things and cleaning, and yet it's not even what I enjoy to do normally. But, you know, is there anything you would do different if you went back to being in third trimester?
That's an interesting question, Philip.
I know.
What would I do different? I'd probably lean in on God more. And just also rest, knowing that the season is coming to an end. Like this journey, I remember, and probably God has a different plan, but I remember thinking, I'll never feel like this again, like after my third, you know, and just enjoy, let God carry you through. And the fact that you've been there, or this is your first time going there, it comes to an end, it does. As long as it looks, it does come to an end. And so don't rush the process. Just let God carry you through. Bring the baby at the right time. Try to rest if you can. You don't have to do it all. You don't have to be super mom. I would definitely rest. Take the rest and just sleep, because then again, you don't know who you're bringing. Maybe you'll not be resting.
Yes. I know.
So just
and getting 2 hours of sleep every night.
And for moms out there, also pamper yourself. If you can, just be selfish, because the moment they're out, you can't be that selfish. So just try to enjoy. If your husband is asking you on a date and you're like, I just want to lie in bed, just go. Go, yeah? So enjoy. Try and enjoy that.
I think we really, as moms, take a back step, especially in this season. You know, I know someone reached me the other day. They're like, you know, what would you want, you know, for yourself, you know, because I guess you have the Excel sheet for the baby. And she's like, what would you want for yourself? And I'm like, nothing. Like, you know, it's hard to think what you would want, right? You know, because your mind is just thinking diapers, wet wipes, you know, all these things that you need for the baby. And so I agree with you not to, like, let yourself go, to still be a little selfish and take care of yourself, you know.
I don't think I would do anything different. Yeah. Because I think I rested.
I did right.
Yes. Well, actually, it was very unconscious. It wasn't something that I said, I am resting.
I'll make sure I rest,
It just happened that I had an easy flow of things. So I think I enjoyed that. But the one thing I would definitely would do different is, like you said, I would pamper. I know I rested, but I didn't pamper myself. And I kept telling my husband, I think I'll go for a massage. And then I'm like, pregnant women go for massages, you know? And then you're like, I want to do, I know it will induce labor. Or I want to have a foot rub. And you're like, So it was always that thing for...
Like a back and forth.
Yeah, a back and forth. I want, but can I? So like you're saying, we take a back seat and the child becomes a priority, which is not bad, but I think as moms, we need to realize, like you said, you're also important.
Yeah.
You know, so it's good to have a balance. Yeah, I think I would have done the balance. I rested, yes, but I didn't do the balance on there's me and the baby. Even after baby.
Yeah.
It's very important to have the balance. Yeah.
Maybe if I could add on to that, for moms who already have other babies, it's also a good time to just also find something special that you can do with these others that you can carry on. Something not very taxing that will kind of let them know, like, you're very important, this person is coming, but we have our thing that we'll do. The other day my friend was telling me that she found out that the child loves to color, so she bought lots of coloring book, and she told me it's so therapeutic, I do it on my own with crayons. So that's something you can do in bed. So just also find something to bond with the older child.
Oh, that's good.
That's not very demanding of your time.
Wow. No, I like that because I remember, was it with my second, someone advised us that when the baby, this is hard to explain, when we come from hospital, you know, to give the baby to somebody, and we sit, you know, like maybe in the living room with the other child, or 2 children or 3 children, depending on how many you have, and just have somebody else bring the baby to you. So then it feels like it's all of you receiving the baby, because they're like, the other kids actually go through a whole mood because of feeling, you know, like there's this new child coming, that's what everybody's talking about, and when the child is born, that's what everybody is focusing on, you know, just the new child, and forgetting the other kids who are there. So I agree with you to perhaps find that one thing, so that even after the baby is there, you can still give out the baby to somebody and do that activity. I think that helps. Gosh, you know, there's so much, you know, when you think about a baby, and I guess it's because I'm smack in that season. And as we close, I'm just curious, and I want you to encourage another mother, you know, whichever way you feel the Lord leading you, you know, because with, you know, the current financial, you know, madness in the country, with inflation and prices of food and prices of everything just going so high, or it could be the fears and the anxiety. So if, you know, we were seated in this shower and there's a mother there, how would you encourage them? You know, like, what would you say to this mother? Or what would you tell yourself if you were seated back in that 3rd trimester? What would you speak into your life at that point?
I think the one thing I would advise is go with the flow, because you don't know what tomorrow holds. Nobody knows what tomorrow holds. So go with the flow. If today we are doing well, fine, we give thanks. If tomorrow things are hard, find a way to adjust. Because it's, if you make it tight on yourself, you're the one who gets exhausted. You know. So the one advice I would say is go with the flow. If today we are having ugali and manangu, you know, the whole time, enjoy the meal.
Make it the best ugali
managu. Make it the best managu, you know.
Feast ever.
Yeah, you eat and you're like, hey, this managu tastes like nyama, you know. And I keep telling my friends, hey, Leo, we're going to have rice and beans. And guess what? The beans taste like nyama, you know.
It's true.
And I keep telling myself, go with the flow, go with the flow. We are in a very unpredictable season. So just go with the flow, even in pregnancy. If the body tells you rest. If the body tells you take a walk, you know, but hydrate. Hydrate. It's very important.
Hydrate and then be in the loo 100 times a day.
I know, right? Yes.
Okay, that's awesome.
For me, I would say, and this scripture my mom gave me says, he who began a good work in you shall bring it to completion. And I apply it to pregnancy as well. God began it, he'll bring you through. So wait on him for that. And also, this God who knew before that baby was formed in your womb, knew they'll be born when fuel is almost 200 shillings. And ugali is, unga for ugali is this much.
Yeah.
You know, for such a time as this, that child has been born. And he has a destiny for that person. That child actually. So always look unto God, the giver of the gift, and don't worry. Like he knows there'll be that day you'll be thinking, where will the diaper come from? It will come.
It will come.
You know, where will the formula come from? If you need it, it will come. If you don't need it, well and good, you know. So just knowing that we love being in control, and that's where our anxiety is set in. But learn to let go of control and be present in the moment. Just don't worry, you'll be fine. You know,
Amen.
You will be fine.
Wow, that's amazing.
Something she mentioned about formula, and I remember with my last born, my milk was not enough for him, so he was constantly hungry. But I wanted to breastfeed for 6 months, you know. But one of the doulas told me, you know what, it's not a sin. The child needs to be fed, and the child needs to be well. So please, if you have to go the formula way, it's not a sin. Please feed the child.
It's true. It's very true.
I think that's one advice I would definitely leave.
No, I love that. You know, the other day I was watching some reel on IG, and it was, this lady was talking about, she's like, do you ever sit with your friends and discuss whether you were born, you know, by vaginal birth or CS?
No.
You know, do you ever sit and talk about, I started walking at what age, or my parents fed me, you know, a formula, or, you know, or like breastfed me for a year or two, you know, and she's like, do your parents, you know, like, do you ever sit down and talk about how your parents like struggled, and, you know, like maybe you didn't have to wear diapers and you wore nappies or wore nothing, you know? And so she's like, so many times in this current age, it's also such a vibrant industry. There's so many things you could get for this child. But she's like, at the end of the day, it's not too necessary. You know, if your child slept through the night the first time at 4 years, or potty trained at 5 years, or, you know, so she's like, all these things don't matter, but don't really matter. So don't kill yourself about it. If your child, one child seems to get it, the other one doesn't, she's like, just work with that flow, like you said, and, you know, just partner with God and let him, you know, just guide you through it. So then you don't lose your mind, going like, I don't have anti-colic bottles. You know, if you don't find them, just use normal bottles. It's still fine, right? And so thank you so much for sharing. I feel so encouraged, you know. And I know it's going to encourage so many other mothers watching. It's so beautiful to know that there are other women who have gone through the same things, you know, I'm going through, and probably other women are going through, and to just be encouraged. And I think it's so beautiful to go through a season and then help others who are behind you, you know. I guess that's what the experience is for. So thank you so much for that. This has been She. I have loved talking about the third trimester. If you have questions, please reach out. Let us know, and we'll get a way of, you know, doing a show about it or answering it. And if you're smart in this season and maybe in the third trimester, we wish you all the best. We ask that God strengthens you, and like you beautifully shared, I just pray that, you know, God, you know, like his word is saying, that he will just accomplish and complete, you know, the work that he started, and he will, because he's faithful. God bless you, and we love you guys, and we wish you all the best in the journey. Amen.